So according to Jungian psychology, there are some versions of ourselves that we need to know and articulate in order to live a very good life. And what I plan to do is that I'm going to make a series of lectures, and in this series of lectures, I'm going to use stories to describe those versions that Jung is explaining. And I personally find those versions very interesting and very helpful in my personal life. So we are going to dive into concepts like the shadow, the anima and the animus, the persona, the self, the individualization, and the collective unconscious. I promise you're going to find it very interesting. So let's begin with the shadow. If you look at the movie The Lord of the Ring and you look at Sméagol, Sméagol was actually a good person before he attained the ring, but after attaining the ring, he couldn't manage himself, and the ring bring out the negative side of him, which is what we refer as the shadow. So it's not like the ring is bad in itself, but what it does is that it brings out the side of you which you have not actually integrated. If you look at Freudo and the ring, Freudo was able to manage the ring in such a way that he was not corrupt by the ring, even though there were a lot of temptation down the line. So the shadow is like the part of you, the inner side of you that you don't want to accept or that you don't attribute yourself to you, but it's there. Just because you don't acknowledge it, it doesn't mean it's not there. Like for example, some people don't want to acknowledge that they have anger in them, or for example, resentment. So they attribute themselves to nice. But sometimes you will see them behave in a very angry behavior and they'll be like, I don't know what gets into me. Yeah, it's because of the person has not integrated that other part of himself. So the shadow leak time to time. And that's exactly what happened to Sméagol. Sméagol became Gollum because he couldn't integrate that shadow of himself. Before I go into pointing out a moment you could observe this shadow in your daily activities or in your life, I would like to talk about something very important. If you like to become better than who you are right now, just by listening to books from great people across history, then you don't have problem because Amazon Audiobook has taken care of that. Whether you are interested in psychology, personal development, business, or storytelling, with a very small amount of fee every month, you can have access to any title you want in the world. And here's the more interesting part. There is a monthly free trial that is going on right now. Don't miss it. Click the link in my bio to have access to any audiobook you wish in Amazon Audibles for free. Back to the shadows in ourselves. Do you ever find yourself behaving strangely, probably due to a promotion or because some large amount of money enter your hand instantly? If yes, that behavior does not come from the Central Bank of Nigeria. That behavior is part of yourself. What actually happened is that the promotion or the gain that happens to you brings it out to your surface. Because it has happened to me in different instances. Sometimes when I receive some large amount of money, I notice the way I behave, the way I walk, the way I talk changes. Sometimes I become more, hot-tempered. And when I start my journey into personal development, I find out what is actually going on. The reason is because this behavior has been in myself, just the way we have discussed it, but I have not integrated it. And I'll talk about integration when we are discussing Jungian terms, which is individualization. And that's why Jung psychology is so interested. And Jung is a genius. And the moment you start seeing things like this, everything changes. So we have come to the end of the shadow. If you have any question on the shadow or about some Jungian psychology, feel free to ask me in the comment section. And also, if you are interested in these concepts, I would recommend you read Aeon by Carl Jung. But, and this is very important, if you are a beginner, going straight to Carl Jung might be very difficult for you, especially Aeons. So what I would recommend is you should start with reading something light that will gradually, develop you into Jung's psychology, which is you could read 12 Rules for Life by Jordan Peterson. I found it very difficult at the beginning to just jump into reading Jung. I'll leave the link to 12 Rules for Life in my bio if you are interested, and you can get it for free just the way we have discussed it on the monthly free trial that is going on. Thank you. Until we meet again.